Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. What do you do when the love of your life tries to hack your phone, fake a digital sting operation, and almost ruins the moment you've been dreaming of for years? Well, if you're lucky, or maybe just really dramatic, you end up marrying her sister instead. Today in the rLounge, the most expensive reminder of what not to put up with. She ruined my proposal to test my love, so I married her sister instead. I've been with my girlfriend for 4 years now. We met through a friend at some community event where I wasn't even planning to go. Let's call her V. Our relationship moved pretty quickly. Within 6 months, we were practically living together, and by year 1, it was official. For the most part, things were good between us, because there were rough patches. V could be jealous sometimes, not in a psycho way, at least not at first. Just little comments if I mentioned a female coworker or questioning why I liked someone's photo on social media. And she was always quick to apologize if she went too far. After 4 years together, I decided it was time to propose. We'd talked about marriage before, and while she seemed more eager than me initially, I'd come around to the idea. I wanted to do it right. Saved up for months to buy a ring that cost me 3 months' salary. It was a princess-cut diamond with smaller stones on the band. Exactly what she'd pointed out in a jewelry store window once when we were walking downtown. I'd planned to propose at the restaurant where we had our first date. Her sister helped me with the planning. Let's call her E. She's 2 years younger than V, and they've always been close despite being pretty different personalities. Where V is intense and passionate, E is more laid back and easygoing. She was genuinely excited about the proposal and offered to help distract my girlfriend while I finalized the details. About 2 weeks before the big day, I noticed my girlfriend acting strange. She started checking my phone when I was in the shower. I caught her once when I came back to grab something and she just laughed it off, saying she was looking for a photo I'd taken. Then she started questioning where I was going more than usual. If I said I was meeting a friend, she wanted to know exactly where and for how long. I figured she might suspect I was planning to propose. Maybe E had accidentally hinted at something, or maybe V just had a sixth sense about these things. Either way, I wasn't too worried. If anything, I thought her suspicion might make the actual proposal even more special. The night of the proposal arrived. I was nervous as hell, but excited too. V looked stunning in a black dress I'd always loved on her. The restaurant had everything set up perfectly. Our usual table, champagne chilling, the manager aware of my plan. We ordered our food, made small talk, and I was just waiting for dessert to arrive before making my move. As the waiter cleared our dinner plates, I started to reach for the ring box in my jacket pocket. She must have noticed because she suddenly reached across the table and grabbed my hand. "I know what you're doing," she said, "but before you do, I need to tell you something." My heart sank. Was she going to break up with me? Had she met someone else? My mind raced through all the worst possibilities. "I've been testing you. For the past month, I've been sending you messages from a fake profile I created, a woman named Jessica. I wanted to see if you would cheat on me if given the opportunity." I sat there stunned. I'd received some random messages from a woman I didn't know, complimenting my profile picture and asking if I wanted to chat. I'd ignored them completely, assuming it was just some spam account. She went on, "You also don't know this, but I found the receipt for the ring in your email. I knew you were planning to propose. I needed to make sure you were faithful before I said yes." The restaurant suddenly felt too hot, too crowded. People at nearby tables were enjoying their meals, completely unaware that my world was imploding. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So did I pass your test?" "Yes. You didn't respond to Jessica at all. That's why I'm ready to say yes now." I didn't pull out the ring. Instead, I signaled for the check, paid, and walked her to the car in silence. She kept asking what was wrong, seeming genuinely confused by my reaction. When we got home, the argument started. I couldn't understand how she thought what she did was acceptable. Creating a fake profile to bait me into cheating? Going through my emails? And worst of all, using the knowledge of my proposal not to be excited, but to test me further? She insisted, "All women test their men. You should be happy I care enough to check. Some girlfriends wouldn't bother." She started crying then, saying I was overreacting to a small mistake, that if I really loved her, I would understand why she needed to be sure, that the important thing was I passed the test, so why couldn't we just move forward? I spent the night on the couch, and the next day I packed a bag and checked into a hotel. My phone blew up with texts from V. After a few days, I got a text from E asking if I was okay. We met for coffee and I told her everything. She was horrified by what her sister had done. She said that she has always been this way, even when they were kids, setting up elaborate scenarios to test people's loyalty. Their parents found it cute, calling her particular about her relationships. But this was next level. Hearing her sister talk about her with such clarity helped me to see the relationship for what it was. There had been red flags all along that I'd ignored or excused. The jealousy, the need for constant validation, the way she'd sometimes twist my words during arguments. I decided then that I couldn't marry someone who thought it was okay to test me like that. I called V and ended things. She didn't take it well. There was screaming, crying, threats of self-harm. I was worried enough that I called her parents to check on her, but I stood firm on my decision. The relationship was over. About 3 weeks after the breakup, I ran into E at a cafe near my apartment. I hadn't been avoiding her specifically, but I'd been keeping my distance from anything connected to V. We ended up talking for hours. It was so easy being around her. No walking on eggshells, no hidden tests or traps, just honest conversation. We exchanged numbers, agreeing to stay in touch as friends. We met up for coffee again, then dinner, then a movie. Each time I found myself looking forward to seeing her more and more. About 2 months after the breakup, I realized I was developing feelings for E. It hit me out of nowhere while we were walking through a park after getting ice cream. She was telling a story about her job, laughing at her own joke, and I had the overwhelming urge to kiss her. I didn't, of course. The whole situation was complicated enough without adding that to the mix. I decided to create some distance to sort out my feelings. However, E noticed my sudden withdrawal and confronted me about it, which I appreciated because she is always direct, without games or tests. She admitted over the phone that she has feelings for me and believes I might feel the same, but she understands if it's too complicated or if I'm not ready. Her honesty surprised me, but I was even more surprised by how quickly I responded, admitting that I do have feelings for her too. We agreed to meet and talk it through in person. That conversation lasted until the restaurant closed and continued on a bench outside for another hour. In the end, we decided to give it a shot, but to take things slowly and keep it private. About a month into our relationship, V found out. Someone had seen us holding hands at a movie theater and told her. She showed up at E's apartment unannounced, screaming about betrayal and loyalty. She called E every name in the book and threatened to turn their entire family against us. And she tried. She told their parents, their extended family, their childhood friends. The family tension came to a head at Christmas. V brought a date specifically to make me jealous. Some guy she'd apparently been seeing for all of 2 weeks. When it became clear I wasn't bothered, she had a complete meltdown, throwing a glass of wine and accusing E and me of conspiring against her from the beginning. We left early, both exhausted by the drama. Despite everything, I've never been happier than I am with E. She's everything I thought I had with V, but real. We're planning to move in together soon, and yes, I've thought about proposing someday. But when I do, it will be different. No tests, no games, just love and trust. I know some people will judge us for getting together. They'll say it's wrong to date the sibling's ex, that family should come before romance, and that I get that perspective, but life isn't always black and white. Sometimes the person who's right for you comes into your life in an unexpected way. E and I didn't plan this. We didn't set out to hurt V, but we also couldn't deny what was happening between us. So that's where things stand now. V still tries to cause problems when she can. She's created multiple fake accounts to monitor our social media, sends us nasty messages to friends about us, and occasionally drives by E's apartment at odd hours. We've considered getting a restraining order. E's parents are slowly coming around. They were understandably conflicted at first, but they've seen how happy their daughter is, and that matters to them. Some family members still won't speak to us, but we're okay with that. As for the ring I bought for V, it's still in my drawer. I couldn't return it because it was custom made, and I couldn't bring myself to sell it yet. I'm not writing this for advice or sympathy. I guess I just wanted to share my story. I'll update if anything happens. Good call on walking away. Nobody wants to get married to someone treating them like a suspect, and if all women test their men, that sounds exhausting. Glad you found E. Sounds like a breath of fresh air compared to all the drama. Family drama aside, sometimes love shows up where you least expect it, even if it's your ex's sister. YOLO! Update. Hey everyone, just want to give a huge shout out for all the love and support on my first post. I never expected it to blow up like that, but your comments and DMs really helped me feel less like I'm losing it over this whole mess. A ton has gone down since my last update, so I figured I'd hop back on and fill you guys in. E and I have been officially dating for about 5 months now, and things between us are amazing. We spent Valentine's Day together. Unfortunately, V hasn't exactly moved on. The day after Valentine's Day, E discovered that her sister had created at least 3 fake social media accounts to monitor our activities. She's been taking screenshots of our posts and sending them to family members with captions like, "Look how they're flaunting their betrayal," and "They're trying to hurt me on purpose." When E's cousin showed us the messages, we were floored. We barely post anything together, and what we do share is just normal couple stuff. nothing that could remotely be considered flaunting. Things escalated when E and I decided to move in together. We found a great apartment halfway between both our workplaces and signed the lease right away. On moving day, we noticed V's car driving by the building multiple times. We tried to ignore it, focusing on getting all our stuff inside instead. But that night, we went out for dinner to celebrate, and when we came back, all 4 tires on my car had been slashed. We couldn't prove it was her, but the timing was suspicious as hell. We filed a police report but didn't specifically name my ex as a suspect since we had no concrete evidence. Still, we both knew. A few days later, I received a letter from a lawyer claiming that the engagement ring I had purchased for V was legally hers as a conditional gift and demanding either its return or payment equal to its value. I was blindsided. First of all, I never actually proposed. She interrupted me before I could even pull out the ring. Second, I had no idea she even knew I still had it. I contacted a lawyer of my own who confirmed what I already suspected. Since no formal engagement occurred, the ring remained my property. About a week later, V's parents reached out and asked to meet with me. I was hesitant at first, worried it might be some kind of trap, but E encouraged me to hear them out. We met at a coffee shop, and to my surprise, they apologized for their daughter's behavior. They explained that V had always been troubled, prone to extreme jealousy and manipulation, but had refused therapy or any kind of help. They gave their blessing to my relationship with E, which meant more to me than I expected. "We just want both our daughters to be happy," her father said, "and it's clear which one is making healthy choices right now." Around this time, I realized that it had been exactly a year since I'd initially planned to propose to V. What a difference a year makes. E and I had talked about marriage in a casual way, both agreeing it was something we wanted eventually, but weren't rushing toward. After what happened with V, I was gun-shy about proposals, and E completely understood. Just when things seemed to calm down, V showed up at my workplace again. This time she told the receptionist she was pregnant with my child and needed to speak with me urgently. Thankfully, my boss was aware of the situation and had security remove her before I even knew she was there. The receptionist told me afterward, and I immediately filed for a restraining order. The claim was ridiculous. We'd broken up for nearly a year, and I hadn't been anywhere near her in months. The court granted the restraining order 2 weeks later. With that protection in place, I decided to propose, but I wanted it to be completely different from what I'd planned with V. No restaurant, no public spectacle. Instead, I booked a weekend at a remote mountain cabin with a hot tub on the back deck and views of the forest. I didn't tell anyone except E's best friend, who helped me pick out a ring that suited E perfectly. A sapphire instead of a diamond, set in rose gold. The proposal was simple, taking place on the deck during sunset while drinking wine. I expressed how much she meant to me, speaking from the heart about how she had changed my life and how I couldn't imagine a future without her, without a rehearsed speech. When I presented the ring, she was visibly shocked and asked if I was sure, referencing the situation with V and understanding if I wanted to wait. I reassured her that I had never been more certain of anything. She accepted immediately, laughing and crying simultaneously. We spent the rest of the weekend in the private bubble of happiness, keeping the news to ourselves to savor it before facing the inevitable family drama. When we finally announced our engagement to close family and friends, the reactions were mixed. 2 days after, V started sending me text messages from different phone numbers. Dozens, then hundreds of them. Some were pleading, "Please don't do this, we can work things out." Others threatening, "I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are." I documented everything but didn't respond to any of them. When the message count hit 300 in a single day, I took the evidence to the police. They arrested V for violating the restraining order. She spent 48 hours in jail before being released with a warning that her next violation would result in actual jail time. After that incident, E and I decided a traditional local wedding was out of the question. There was no way V wouldn't try to disrupt it somehow. Instead, we started planning a destination wedding in Mexico. We set the date for September, giving us plenty of time to arrange everything. I sold the ring I had originally bought for V. It felt symbolic somehow, letting go of that last physical reminder of our relationship. The money went toward our wedding fund. E's ring is completely different. Fake accounts, tire slashing, and even the classic "I'm pregnant" surprise visit? Yikes. Glad you and E are safe and have the restraining order in place. That cabin proposal sounds perfect. Low-key, no fuss, just the two of you and some killer views. Plus, sapphire and rose gold? Way better vibe than the old ring drama. A Mexico wedding sounds like the way to go. Nothing like sunshine and a little distance to keep the drama at bay. Hope it's all chill vibes and zero interruptions. Do you have a similar experience? Share your story with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.